Hi everybody, it's Tuesday, September 15th, 2009. Thanks for stopping by. Today I just want to remind you about Gaza. I know it's not in the media, you're not going to see it on television, you won't read about it in the newspaper. You won't hear about it on the radio. On the radio, all you'll probably hear is crazed right-wing lunatics complaining about Obama trying to kill their babies. On TV, all you'll see is toothpaste and reality shows. And I don't even know what you're going to see in the newspaper, if anybody even reads them anymore. But you won't see Gaza. On Democracy Now!, Naomi Klein was talking about Gaza yesterday. Now, Naomi Klein is a leader of a protest movement protesting the TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival. Now, the reason why they're protesting TIFF, they're not boycotting it. They're not suggesting anybody boycott it, but they are protesting it because this year TIFF has dedicated itself to a celebration of Tel Aviv. Now, Tel Aviv in itself is not bad. It's just another city in Israel, but the fact that they're highlighting a city in Israel less than a year after the Gaza massacre occurred, and there is no mention of Gaza, there's no mention of Palestine, there's no mention of Palestinians, there's no mention of anything Arab, and they're celebrating Tel Aviv, and is part of a major effort by the government of Israel to rebrand itself and to propagate what they call a narrative of normalcy. Now, what that means is they'll simply ignore the criticisms, they'll ignore the complaints about their actions because they have no real reply other than to call you an anti-Semite. So they'll just ignore that, and they'll work very hard to get people like the Toronto International Film Festival to spotlight and celebrate normal aspects of Israeli society, like promote Israeli tourism or celebrate Israeli technology, which a lot of people actually tell lies about. If you go on the internet, you can hear all kinds of claims that Israel invented everything in the world. If you want to boycott Israel, you have to be a caveman because they invented everything since the wheel, apparently. That's not actually true, but that's what they say. That's not to say that Israel hasn't invented some things. They have. I mean, they've done a lot of advancements. They've made a lot of advancements in science and technology, but they haven't invented everything. Okay, it's a little bit of an exaggeration. So they'll spotlight things like that, and they'll say, let's celebrate Tel Aviv, right? Which in itself is not so bad, but in the context of the apartheid regime in Israel, in the context of the recent events, without providing any idea that there is another face to Israel, it's really a horrible thing to do. Now, you might not see this. This might be hard to comprehend at first, but just imagine if during apartheid we started celebrating Johannesburg, right? What if we celebrated South Africa, and South Africa was a white country, no black people mentioned, no Africans, they don't even come into the picture, okay? We just start celebrating white South African filmmakers all of a sudden. Wouldn't that seem bad? Wouldn't that seem, really inappropriate to you? I think it would, because, basically you'd be taking sides and you'd be supporting apartheid. And what we do when we pretend that Israel is this normal country and nothing bad is happening, we're taking sides and we're approving of apartheid. And by the way, I don't mean to compare Israel exactly with South Africa, because it's much, much worse what they're doing to Palestinians. than what they ever tried to do to the Africans in South Africa. Okay, not that what they were doing to Africans was good, but even Desmond Tutu and or maybe it was Nelson Mandela said when he visited Israel, he said, "My God, this is horrible. This is much worse than what they tried to do to us." And really, when they talk about the two-state solution, the two-state solution is a form of apartheid that makes South Africa look like Disneyland. Okay, I'm not exaggerating, but that is like they offer that as the carrot. This is the best thing that you could ever hope for that you'll never get. I mean, that's basically what they're telling the Palestinians. This is what this is the best thing you could ever hope for, or you'll never get it. Because they're not going to negotiate with Palestinians. Even more, the U.S. government was not going to negotiate with Native Americans. I mean, come on, get real. They don't need to negotiate. They do what they want. Okay, so that's a long digression, I know. But Naomi Klein was talking about, how they need to stop this rebranding of Israel so that they don't change the subject. They don't make everybody feel like there's nothing going on. And she was talking about how she came from Gaza, and the people in Gaza are even more hopeless now than they were when they were being hit with white phosphorus and all these other illegal weapons. There's even less hope now because they see that the rest of the world has forgotten them. The rest of the world does not care about what has happened to them and what is continuing to happen to them. I mean, they're still being starved. They're still being imprisoned. This is a population of 1.5 million people put in prison for being the wrong kind of person. Put in prison for being Arabs. No other reason. And while they were in prison, they were attacked in a brutal fashion. They had no defense. The idea that they could have defended themselves or that it was a war is just patently ridiculous. Just imagine if you had an AK-47 and somebody attacked you with an F-16. Is that a war? Imagine if you had a rock and somebody attacked you with a battleship. Is that a war? No. That's a massacre. Your butt is grass. They're going to kill you. And that's all there is to it. That's a massacre. Okay? And nobody cares. All these people were put in prison for being Arabs, okay, for being the wrong race. Then they were attacked and massacred. And the war criminals who massacred them are now punishing them, okay? The war criminals are going on TV and talking about how great they are. And they're punishing the victims of war crimes. I mean, how long can we sit there and watch this happen? How long can we, witness this? Will we one day realize that all the Gazans are dead, that they've all finally starved to death, or died of sickness, or died of exposure because they're homeless? I mean, and then think, oh my God, what do we do? 1.5 million people, and we participated in exterminating them. I mean, imagine how bad the Germans felt after World War II. Do you really want to feel that bad? Do you want to feel like you were a Nazi during World War II? Because, it seems to me like one day we're going to wake up and we're going to realize that we are the Nazis. And this was World War II. And we did it. We did it. But there was no Americans to come and save the day. There was nobody to come and stop us. We just did it and got away with it. I mean, how are we going to feel about ourselves when this is all over? Thanks for watching.